Well, a treat. 572 cubic inch big block, Brodix heads on it, going in a mud truck. And this is actually the first fire up. It's been warmed up. Check the valve laps on it, and we're gonna see what this thing makes on the second lick right now. We just added about 2-3 degrees of timing into it. Made 744 on the last hit. So let's see what this thing does this go around. The mastermind himself, Andrew, owner, operator, and PMF Performance, takes care of me on all my machine work. Here we go. Survey sets!
Hello.
I like all your glasses, your collections. Really nice.
Come see, I'm old.
787 horsepower at 7,100. I promised you guys an update today, and this is your update. I ordered a box that came inside of a box, and then another box inside of another box, and then some other boxes. This is like, it's like Eastern European, Russian nesting dolls of ordering high-performance parts. This doesn't work. Logan's been doing accents, so I figured I'd give myself a shot at it, and no, this doesn't work. What's up, everybody? So, another update. I promised you guys I would go back through and give you another update on where we're at right now. Anyway, so here we are. This is gonna be a quick one. Stark contrast to my 20-minute long drawn-out thing. Well, who knows? We might go that far. Anyway, so parts are showing up here. And man, they're packaging them really, really good. And I made mention, I think in the last video, I may have edited it out, I can't even remember anymore at this point, about this beaut right here. We want to punch this thing down into the low 120s, maybe even the high 1-teens in the 60-foot department on a good track. And I feel like the car has it in it. It has the potential to do so. I don't feel like it has the potential to control the oil with a factory F-body pan that I've been running for the past umpteen years on the thing. So I went ahead and dropped the coin and paid for the big boy parts, and we got this, the Moroso. There's a bunch of different iterations of it out there, but I got the Moroso pan with the slant down into it, the drain back, the directional windage tray upgrade, as well as the pickup tube for the corresponding pan. Hopefully the leaning tower of cardboard here does not tumble down. If you can see my pants in this, ignore them. I'm in my pajamas doing this video because it's kind of late. So check this out. Trapdoor goodness inside of here. A little bit of drain back right here. So all the oil whoop, goes down here. Trapdoors in all four corners to keep the pickup fully submerged in oil to eliminate any potential of uncovering the pickup at the most critical time, which is the launch. Actually, you know, any point down the run is a critical time for oil pressure. It also has this billet oil filter adapter. You don't have to run the external oil filter adapter. So that's what all these boxes are right here. So they put like the Moroso box inside of the other box. All this stuff right here was ordered from the good folks over at Radiator Racing. Those guys, they're really awesome. Super nice dudes. Give Jared over there a call. He's real nice. Tell him I sent you. He'll probably upcharge you. Charge you more than what he normally would because I don't think he likes me very much, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about. Other things we got. I showed you guys the swollen radiator. Well, we got a replacement. Hold on, let me open this up. Flip this around. So my freaking address isn't on there. So this is a Speedway Motors radiator. Now, I know what some people are probably thinking. Speedway is mostly like old school hot rod and circle track stuff. Well, if you know anything about most circle track racers on a kind of a local level, they are some of the cheapest bastards on the planet, and Speedway fully recognizes that. So this is one of their double pass radiators. It's the same radiator that I had on the car before, but I've never really talked about it in great detail. I'm a huge fan of this thing, especially for LS swaps, because of one critical feature. Well, it's two really, because first and foremost, it's dirt cheap. This is like a $189 radiator. It is about 2.5 inches thick, and this one in particular, they come in different widths. This is a 28-inch wide radiator. You can get up to 31 inches wide. I can get it as narrow as 24. I've used these on more than one swap. This is hard to do with one hand. Easy, girl. You go right there. Look at that. What the hell? Drill. Perfect. So the biggest benefit, I already mentioned the cost, and I mentioned this thing is double pass. So double pass means the inlet and outlet, or the water goes through the radiator 2 times. So it goes across this way, comes back across this way. And you can see in here, it is divided right there. So it comes in this guy, goes down through, comes back out the same side. So your inlet and outlets are on the same side. And if you're familiar with LS stuff, that is a huge benefit because on LS style water pumps, the inlet and outlets are on the same side. Okay, this particular car has a Mishimoto radiator, which is stock for a Fox body, so it has all the factory Ford pickup locations down there. So this one is kind of an exception, but this is one that we already had laying around. I have used this exact radiator in my car last year on drag week when it torched out a cylinder head and it inflated the radiator like a basketball, but it did not rupture it. It did not push the water, it didn't crack. It deformed like hell because it put who knows how much pressure. I ran a 29-pound radiator cap on it, so I don't know how much pressure that thing saw. I wasn't monitoring coolant pressure at the time, but it made me a believer out of that radiator. So if that thing can get blown up like a basketball and not pour all the coolant onto the track, I'm a believer. So there was no question in my mind when it came time to replace the radiator that I would throw another one on there of the exact same style. The only thing I have to do to this, I'm going to weld on the tabs for my cooling fan this week, and then it will be a drop in a fair and bolt right into the car. Check those out. Speedway Motors, their radiators, they're house brand. They're really, really slick. They're really, really well put together, and they come in a variety of sizes and everything like that. It also takes a standard style radiator cap, so I got a 29-pound radiator cap to put back on this. Fresh cooling system all around with the exception of the water pump because that thing's got minimal wear and tear on it. And that's it. That's pretty much everything I got right now at this minute. I'm waiting on push rods. I'm gonna go pick those up tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, this video is going to, I'm gonna snap my finger like that. Not right now, but
the next day.
As you can see now by the action going on in that valve train, we have our push rods in. Those finally showed up. So the push rods checked out to be great. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt on the valve covers and seal those up. So there you go, you can get a better picture of what the final product is gonna look like. The balancer is on there. I gotta torque that down, but I need a way to hold the crankshaft to keep it from rotating. And the intake still isn't bolted down. I need to make a valley tray. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do that yet. We've got to figure out the steam vent lines because everything I used to have, steam vent lines, fuel lines, and stuff like that, all ran underneath the intake. And there's not a lot of real estate underneath this thing. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to run them over the top, but still keep it looking high speed, low drag. I want it to look sleek. It's hard to make that intake look ugly. I think this combination looks bitchin', dude. I am so stoked on the way this thing looks. I can't wait to see it sitting between the rails on that thing. So for now, I'm gonna flip this thing over and bolt on the window tray and the pickup tube. Okay, so we ran into a bit of a showstopper here. Not a huge deal. The windage tray for this Moroso pan, the holes here for the bolts are actually drilled for the factory style bolts, which have a very skinny stud if you've ever looked at a stock LS bolt. So this motor has ARP main studs in it, and they are a little bit girthier. So I'm gonna have to drill those out tomorrow. Hey-oh! 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 That's a really corny way to start this out, but we're gonna do it that way. So, bang. I always make my own sound effects. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's the next day. Thanks for joining us. I went ahead and drilled out the holes. Goes on. Money. Now we're gonna go ahead and put on the oil pump pickup tube and bolt the pan down, flip it over. I ran into a bit of a snafu with the oil pump. So the bolt I had been using was kind of short, and I guess from taking this motor apart a couple times, I stripped out the threads, or they started to let go. So I went ahead and put a longer bolt in there, and I think we're gonna be okay. But everything is bolted on now. And then I had to go over to Tractor Supply and fight my way through a crowd of Carolina squat trucks. And I pick up this, a 3/4 inch tap to put in this guy, the drain. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill and tap the Moroso oil pan and install the drain. I'm gonna slap it and bolt that thing onto the motor, and then that thing's gonna be ready to drop back in the car. Okay, so at first appearances, this might seem a little bit unorthodox to what you're used to as far as like tapping and threading holes, but I'm here to tell you, using an impact to tap and thread your holes works, in my opinion, much better than the traditional way of using a tap and die set with a little T-handle, because the impact action of this actually creates and snaps off the little pieces of threads as it goes through. So you don't get these big curly queues of threads that can often end up wound back inside and get underneath and interrupt the cutting action and trash the threads that it's trying to cut. It's much faster, it's much cleaner, and people are like, oh, you're gonna break the tap off. I've never broken a tap off doing it in this method. I've broken off countless taps doing it the other way, the traditional, the analog way. 2019, guys, catch up. It's the digital age. Let's do this. So there we go. We're getting it just started. We'll give it one more and we'll check it again. Yeah. Is it my birthday? That's me. Oh, look at it. It's hairy slime ice cream and crayons. If you guys know anything about what my daytime job is, she knows I love eating these things.
Why did she just eat the candle?
I ate the crayon because that's what we do.
We don't eat crayons.
You're right, and I see why.
I'm going to read those out here. You're not going to eat your cake.
Aww.
Because it's not your birthday, because you eat the cake.
Back to threading holes. I love that kid, man. Yeah, I got crayon stuck all in my teeth. Okay, that's good. I got about 2 threads showing on the back side here, and I have to crank this thing down and get a little bit more tension on it. You don't want to go too far. If you're looking at this saying that thing's sticking way, way out, I get that. But if you go in too far on the back side here, what you're gonna run into is up under here, if it protrudes too far, your pickup tube for the oil pump runs right along this area. So if this jams in too far, then you have to come in here with a grinder and knock this down, and you don't want to do that. Save yourself the extra effort. All right, moment of truth. Button up the bottom end on this bitch. Hopefully this all clears. It should. Money. There you go. Like I was talking about, you gotta make sure that turbo drain doesn't get screwed in too far, because if it does, then it's gonna get in the way of the pickup tube, but we're mint on this. So we're gonna slam the bolts in this thing, flip it over, and throw the lift plate on it and get it ready to set in the car. This is the end of it. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here, and the next time we pick this up, I'm gonna be putting that thing into the car, but here's an idea of what the finished product is gonna look like. The water pump is on here. That's a Missouri 55 gallon per minute street pump. This thing is not the cheapest pump on the planet, but it does really, really good. So if you've ever been skeptical about the streetability of these things, I'm here to tell you they work phenomenal. The Moroso pan is on and installed. The balancer on, water pump on. A few things to wrap up. Waiting on a couple parts, but right now, as it sits, the motor can go back in the car, and that's where we're gonna pick this episode up next time. For now, I'm gonna go inside and spend some time with my kid. Daddy-daughter time!